Hey everybody, it's Kelly and I'm Black Thread Studio and I'm sitting out at the patio. This is totally random. It's Tuesday, June 23rd. It's 6:46 p.m. in Wisconsin. So this last Sunday, besides it being Father's Day, it was the summer solstice. So happy that. And I can tell you that I think every single year that I can remember, it's been cloudy and kind of cool and rainy and not a day where we could see the daylight for a longer period of time. But I am experiencing it tonight as I came home from work. I really wanted to sit outside and stitch, and I figured that I would do that with you because I'm still working on my, I'm calling it my 59 for the place at the lake, the 59 EPP traveling pouch. So I'm still working on that. I have added to it and I have a few more things I can show you. But the biggest thing is, oh, there's a bug in my wine, is that on Fridays I've been watching my great nephew Theo. I have him again this Friday, and then, which I thought about doing a video for you guys because I miss you. And then the next Friday when I really should be doing one, which is, that's the 4th of July weekend, my daughter and grandkids, Hadley and Reed, are coming. So I knew I wouldn't be doing a video for a few more weeks, and I wanted to get something sent out to you guys just to keep you interested so you don't go wandering away, so I don't go wandering away and never come back again. So, and it's so beautiful out here. Some of my flowers are really popping, so if you stay tuned, I might put a little series of some more garden photos at the end. Okay, so this is what I've been doing. As I told you, I am still gathering, I'm still gathering things for, I couldn't remember what I was calling it, Bring More Flowers Crazy Quilt edition, the Crazy Quilt embroidered kind of thing that I talked about last time. I'm gathering things for that. I ordered a couple more, the 2 more Nemu cross stitch patterns that had the fairies with the birds. I ordered those from Nemu in, I think she's in France. And I got an email saying that I think their printer or something was down and they were behind in printing the patterns. So I'm still waiting on those and gathering things. But so we'll get to that. It will probably be kind of mid-July that I'm going to start that project with you guys. So do you want to just sit and stitch with me tonight? How does that sound? It's so beautiful here. I really hope you guys are having good weather. It's been, I think, really strange for everyone, not only across the United States, but across the world, because I know my friends in England have had some really strange weather too. So, oh, there's little bugs that keep trying to get in my wine. Okay, so I'm gonna go off camera just so I can show you what I'm working on. So I will. Okay, I'm back. I was talking, and realized that my recording stopped. So this is what I did while I thought I was talking to you, but I wasn't. So what I was telling you was that when I was in at 59 last weekend, I took my citrine ring off and left it in the sister's room there because I didn't want to scratch Theo and be wearing my ring while I was babysitting. So I'm really missing it. So I thought for tonight I would put on my citrine wool pincushion ring. And what I wanted to show you was how cool these are, if you've seen them on Amazon or not. I have had this in my wish cart forever. And it's one of those things you think, oh, I don't need it. I'm not going to spend the 10 bucks. And I finally did. So look what you get for 10 bucks. 5 different colors of little pincushion rings. I thought how fun that would be if you're stitching with someone, if I'm, you know, want to send one to Sarah, if I'm sitting next to Rita stitching and I want to give one to her, or share one with Elaine or Rox, all my friends that like to stitch. So I'm going to take these off. I just wanted you to see the colors they came in. I don't know if you could order, you might be able to order a different grouping of pictures, but these are kind of more my colors. So I'm going to be wearing my citrine ring tonight for you, since the other one's at the lake. So anyway, and when you get those, they also send you a little box of pins. So I will be using those. Okay. Did I show you this? Did I get cut off? Should we look at it again? The yo-yo with thread gather silks. This is what I had done last time. I worked on that doily netting, and I had some of these background pieces done, but since then I've made some of my own yo-yos that I've added. I ordered a bag of yo-yos on eBay, some vintage yo-yos. They don't look as vintage as I thought they were gonna look. These were, I didn't like all of them, so I picked out a couple that I liked for this. And just added a few buttons. This will be the back where I added stitch. So pardon me if I'm redoing this and the camera did record it and I thought it got cut off, and there's my initials. So what I'm going to do is I picked out this flannel. Isn't that cute with the red and orange? The flannel that's going to be the lining. And I'm not going to finish this perfectly like a quilt. I think what I'm going to do is just cut it out, and then I'm going to kind of tack it down wrong side to wrong side. And then these raw edges, I am going to bind them like a quilt using this. But I think what I'm going to do is rip this and make it real frayed edges, kind of like this piece of that I used, so that it has kind of a messy look. I don't want it to be too prissy and perfect. So a few other things that I did, let's see. I added some yo-yos, some old buttons, just a few random things. I did a flower stem, and then I did a stem out of that variegated silk ribbon that was the thread gathers, and then just added some little like claw feet ferny things on there. So what I really wanted to do is kind of be able to cut out flowers to stitch on. I'm going to tell you my problem, so maybe you guys can help me with this. Okay, look at this beautiful silky piece. All these I'm going to show you I got at Goodwill. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, it's long. I got it home and I thought, oh my gosh, how in the world am I going to cut that up? Because if I finish it off just right, it'll make the perfect scarf. Isn't that pretty for a scarf? Okay, so that one's not going to get cut up. Then, then I found, which I love houndstooth. This, I thought, oh, wouldn't that be pretty as like a tablecloth or something, or some backing of a quilt? And I thought, no, that would be so cool. Just cut out those flowers and stitch them on and use a bunch of it. I can't do it. This piece is so big and beautiful that I just cannot fathom that I'm going to cut those flowers out of this piece. That's not right, is it, you guys? I should be able to do that. Should I or shouldn't I? Are you in the I can't cut it up club, or in the just chop it up and don't worry about it club? Now this, well, I'll save that one because I think I can cut that one up. Then as well, this one is, I don't know if it was originally a tablecloth. It looked like it was a tablecloth, but it looks just like raw fabric. Look at that. Wouldn't that be pretty to cut up and use little separate leaves? Can't do it. Because it's such a big piece, I always think, oh, wouldn't that be so pretty as the backing of a quilt or something? Okay, can't do that one. Now these I think I can do. These I got at Goodwill as well. Okay, look. 4 yards for $8. And little motif of people on those old-fashioned bikes. That's 4 yards though. That would make a nice backing, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm not sure about that one, cutting that one up. This one, I am definitely gonna cut up with you tonight. I think I'm gonna cut out one of these kind of, does it look like a chrysanthemum in that gold? I think I'll cut up one of those and try to put it on here. I have this little piece of like burlap that my girls, Paige and Hadley, and my grandma, that taught me to stitch. Their birthdays are all on the 9th of the month. Paige and Hadley, that's their favorite number. So I think I'm gonna cut that out and put it on here. And then as well, I have this upholstery fabric that has some nice flowers on it. But once again, when I see a nice big piece like that, that would make a nice backing on a pillow or something. Okay, we're gonna save that one. Let's save that one. So, last time I had really crappy scissors out here, so I did go get my little Fisker fabric scissors. They're a little bit better. So let's see where we're gonna start here. So we're just gonna chit chat and stitch, if that's okay with you guys. So I don't want you to be bored. I want you to be working on something. I want you to be relaxed. Okay, this one right here, the tip didn't get cut off like it did on some of these others. That'd be pretty to cut that out like that. Or is that gonna be too big? Should we try it? I'm not trying to be, sometimes I am too matchy-matchy, and I'm trying to get away from that, I think, a little bit. So let's just cut this out. I guess if 2 of them is too big, no harm done. We tried it, and I can always cut it down the center. Oh, I just cut off some of the leaves. Whoops, I cut off some of the leaves again. Okay, and we'll get rid of that piece for right now. Oh, I don't know if I like that. You know what it looks like? Looks like the top of a swimming suit, bikini. Like the bra part, doesn't it? Okay, we're not doing that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, that's just not the look I'm going for, I think. Okay, I'm gonna cut this down a little bit smaller. So there will be, this isn't a regular video where I'm gonna do a Shirley's Cottage, or I guess I could do some musings if you tell me what you wanna talk about. I'm sure you don't wanna talk about my health issues, but last week, let me take a sip. Last week, no joke, I spent every one of my lunch hours going down the street to Aurora Medical Center for doctor's appointments. Okay, what am I gonna do? Guys, I don't like that on there. Okay, that's not happening. Sorry, I thought about it for a minute. Let's cut out the 9. Let's cut out the 9 and see what happens. So anyway, once you turn 65, Medicare wants you to do everything possible. So I had to see my sleep apnea doctor. I had to see my orthopedic for my knee. I had to see, I had to do a mammogram, and anyway, every day I was at the doctor. So I'm kind of starting to feel like I'm falling apart, but I'm gonna fight it every step of the way. So do I want to cut that 9 down a little bit smaller to get rid of that? Or do you kind of like that? You know, I kind of like that just right there. I think what I'm going to do, this is bent up a little bit. So let's just stitch this tonight. I might just pin this down, and you know what I might actually really do with you is I wanted to get another yo-yo made. So if you guys want to sit while I make a yo-yo using a clover, one of the clover template that you use to make yo-yos. If you haven't seen it, I can show you that real quick. And if you have seen it, you just want to hang out. Okay, let's see. So this is going to be, actually, let's see. That would be the front cover, so I don't want to do backwards. It would be like this, right? And I'll put a 9 on there for my girls. Yeah, I like that. If that's a little bit frayed. Okay. Shall we use the citrine jeweled pin cushion? Let's see how that works. If you stick pins in there. Is that handy? It's kind of handy, isn't it? Okay. I pulled too many pins. Let me get this pinned on here for you. I'm going to do it upside down so you can see what it's going to look like. This is too big, but I'll cut it down once I get it stitched on there. I'll cut down that little edge and it will get covered with the binding. So, are you guys excited about 4th of July? We have, I know everyone's been stitching a lot of whatever the centennial thing is called. I'm not even going to attempt to try to say it. I had pins on my pin cushion, but I still was reaching in there. A lot of people have been stitching, cross-stitching some memorial pieces, you know, and to commemorate, I should say, the 250th. And I had something picked out, but I haven't really started anything yet. Not that I don't want to, I'm going to plan on it. But right now I'm just looking forward to relaxing and enjoying fireworks on the lake with my family because I think it's going to be a blast. They do really great fireworks on Lake Ripley. They're done privately by neighbors. The town does pitch in, residents pitch in to help pay for the fireworks. But my page has, of course, seen the fireworks, but my grandkids have not been at the lake yet for fireworks, so I'm really excited about that. Okay, I'm not going to stitch that on with you tonight, but that's where that 9 is going to go. Let's decide on a fabric to use for a yo-yo. You know what I think I'm going to do? Let's be brave. Let's cut a piece of this out, because look at, I love that with that. It's not going to hurt, right? It won't hurt a bit. It won't hurt a bit to cut off a piece of this for yardage. Okay, the question is, do we want to, I have 2 yo-yo templates out here in my tin. So let's see what we have. I have this is the smallest one, which is 30 millimeters. There's several sizes. This one is the 45 millimeter. So for good reference, if you'd like to see, my pins were getting stuck to the, I think I might have to take it off. My patio table is metal and it's kind of magnetic, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the pins were sticking to that, so that's coming off. Okay, this yo-yo makes this size right here. This bigger one I traced and made by hand. I did not use a yo-yo template, so it's not a standard size. This makes this size, which is 45 millimeter, the orange. The grain again is 30 millimeter, and it makes this. Now I've made teeny tiny yo-yos, and I've just cut out the circle and then did them by hand. But for yo-yo templates, this is the smallest one you can make. And then there's another small one, and there's another small one. So since I have so many small ones, do you think I should do, let's do the 45 millimeter. Yes, out of this. So this is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna find the corner. I'm gonna lay this out just to kind of get an idea. So if you guys haven't used these before, this was something I thought I would never want to use because my grandma taught me how to make yo-yos, and she did them, of course, from scratch by hand, you know, tracing circles out of like a teacup or a coffee cup. And so I thought that's how I would always do it. But once these came out and I broke down and tried them, well, they're nice and easy. If you want a more uniform look with your yo-yos, putting them together in a project, it works because they do end up, you know, there's a big crease in there, but I don't think that's gonna matter. Okay, if you already know this, you know it. If you don't, I'll try to show you close up. Okay, so there's two pieces. This has a hole that pops out. This has ridges. Can you see the ridges on it? The ridges, you have to line up with that little bump. Can you see it? If you don't, you won't have the holes lined up. See, right now they're lined up. If you don't get it lined up, then you're not going to be able to get, well, it almost does it itself, so it would be really hard to get it snapped in, but you won't be able to get the holes lined up so you can put your needle through. So you want this like a bowl shape with that up, the right side down, and then what I do is I look for I don't know what to call it, the ridge, the line, and then I peek underneath and look for that little bump and just line that up and snap it in, and you can hear it snap. Now you can see I got this a lot closer on the outside than here, but that's okay. You just want enough that you can have enough to fold over to catch in your needle and thread. So what I do is I line up my scissors so I'm resting right on top of, you know, that bowl part of the bottom, and I just cut it off like that. That kind of gives you the perfect edging. There is a template on the cardboard when you buy these that will tell you what size to cut, but I don't do it that way. Okay, let's get needled up, needle and thread. If I'm working on a bunch of yo-yos and I'm doing it for a special project, I will match my thread to the color of the fabric. Here I'm just using Gutermann's cotton, like a cream. I've used it on all of these. I even stitched down, I even stitched that black yo-yo. I made the yo-yo itself and stitched it down with the cream, and you can't even really see. So if you know, kind of pay attention. Now I like to double my thread just because if I'm doing that much work, I want to make sure that it's going to be strong enough to stay. And here I am again, sitting out here stitching without my stitching glasses. Okay, I'm gonna make my little graham knot. You do want a nice knot because I just wrap it around the needle like several times. I didn't even count, but I want a nice knot because I don't want it to go through I don't want it to poke through. Okay, this is just how I do it. There's a 45mm embossed on there. I kind of find that, and then I start to the side of that. So when I go all the way around, I don't stop in the one next to it. I go and I finish off in the same one I started in. That closes that gap so that you get a nice even gather. So if you look, that is the right side of your fabric that you can see on the bottom. Okay, you're gonna work, well, I work, this is the way I do it. Up, down, up, down. And this is the way I taught Reed when he was like 4, and he really got it. So you want to make sure your stitches are in that little smiley groove. You don't want them to cross over, otherwise you'll be stuck when you go to pop this off. You want it within here. So I'm with my thumb, I'm holding down that edge of the fabric so I catch it. I'm coming up in that smiley. I got a nice knot, and then I'm still holding that edge, and I'm coming back down. And then you move to the next one. I moved my thumb over. I'm going up and down and making sure that I'm grabbing the fabric underneath. So this is a really good project, kind of mindless to do when you're sitting watching TV, if you don't need a lot of light or something like that, or if you're trying to be involved in, you know, a conversation or, you know, doing something else. For a long time, I would just sit and make these and then throw them in a jar. I've used up a lot of them on quilts or giving them away or giving them to my grandkids. Maybe this winter I'll start making more yo-yos again. Okay, I want to show you my needle came up, but it didn't catch the fabric right there. That wouldn't work. So I'm going to make sure I'm holding that down. I'm going to stick that through and make sure that I'm catching the fabric. So anyway, I know I started talking about the 4th of July, but I'm really excited about being on the lake. Everyone puts their lights on their boats and goes and sits in the middle of the lake, and you know, they toot their horns. Earlier in the day there is a boat parade where everybody decorates their boats, and it's not a big lake, it's only 5 miles around, so you can kind of see from one side to the other, and it's really a beautiful thing. Which reminds me, saying a beautiful thing for being something that simple, I don't know what this was on YouTube, but I caught this, something was suggested to me on YouTube, so I clicked on it, and it's just a guy, and I think he talks more about, he's into fountain pens and like dressing well, you know, like an old tweed and sport coats. And anyway, the one that came up for me was, I think it was about romancing your life. Okay, I am in that last one. I'm gonna go ahead, you can see my knot is right there. I'm gonna come back up. I'm trying to show you, but I can't see what I'm doing. I'm gonna come back up where the knot is and go back down in the same one. I have other videos on yo-yos if this isn't coming out very good. Okay, so there I'm dangling. Take this and punch it out. That's what it looks like. And you can see my white thread, but once we get this all gathered up, so kind of just pull it apart, get it off of the teeth. And then you just slowly, that's why I like to use double thread. I think because I'm too rough, I have broken my thread before pulling it. Okay, that's my end, and it's not gathering up very well because it's my end. So I'm just gonna play with it. I'm gonna rearrange it, kind of just make it into a little shower cap so that all your edges are kind of evened up. It doesn't even have to be that perfect. Okay, now, to make a yo-yo where you're gonna see the back, you have to tie it off and cut it off on the top. You know, if you're gonna see something, the both sides of a yo-yo. Most of what I do is stitching the yo-yo down. So what I do is I put the needle through the middle and come out the back. And then you don't have to pull it as tight as I do. I just like mine pulled really tight. And then I just kind of do a knot on itself on the back to secure it. And then I leave that thread on. I'm gonna leave that on so I can just use this, that whole piece, while I'm stitching it down. Okay, so where are we gonna put it? Okay, if 9 is gonna go there, this way, 9 is gonna go there. So I keep folding it up like this while I'm working on it to see where I'm gonna see things and where I'm gonna have blank spaces. So that will be 9. This is gonna flop. That's gonna be the closure. So I don't know if I don't want to put something there because I want that to close like nice and flat. That will be like that. And then this one will be like this. Okay, so there, I can see it. I've got those, I've got that black there. I'm gonna even it out and put this one here, but I want it to be more random. I don't want it to look like I put that one right across from that. So, does it look like it's too close to that one though? Am I being too picky about it? Do you like it better there? See, I don't like that. Okay, I'm just gonna stitch it there. Let's just put one little pin in it. Now I do have a little secret. I'm gonna try to bring you down a little bit closer. And then Jim's in there wandering around, so I think when I get this done, I'll go sit with him and get my pajamas on. I usually do that first thing when I get home, but I came out here and sat right away. Okay, so you can see this cream thread. So if I'm not careful, you will see it. Now I could stitch it on with big stitches so that you see the cream thread. If I was gonna do that, I would probably use a heavier weight, like a pearl, you know, pearl number 5 or something. But since I don't want to see this, what I'm gonna do is come, gosh, I hope you can see this. I'm gonna come underneath and grab the edge of the yo-yo, but I'm trying to come up more on the bottom of it instead of the top. And then I'm gonna take that little bite. As well, I have other videos on this. This is the same method I use to close up pillow bottoms so that you don't see that. So can you see I'm coming up and grabbing the edge, but I'm coming, it's right on the edge, but it's more on the underneath than the top. And I do like to pull mine really tight because I like it puckered. You know, I like it puckered like that. So I'm just gonna keep going, then you guys can see what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so we talked about 4th of July. What else? This is so nice sitting out here stitching. I could just sit out here all night. What time is it now? 7:30, and it's still pretty light out. Okay, I was not paying attention at all. I was not paying attention at all. And so I got that thread there, but you know what, I'm not gonna take it out. I'll probably cover it with a button or something. You might not even have seen where I'll show you when I get done. So I'm just going around Can you hear the birds? It sounds like they're getting ready to go to bed. Could you actually see me stitching here? So last time you guys told me what you were working on, and I loved it. I love to know what you're working on. It's so much fun. So I know this doesn't seem like it's any big deal content watching me stitch here, but like I said, I knew I was missing you guys. I am missing you, and I knew that it would be a couple more Fridays, because if you know or if you don't know, I'm still working full-time. And not only that, but it's like a 45-minute drive for me to go to work and come home. So it makes for a really long day. But I'm taking Fridays off this year. I planned it last year, and I felt guilty, so there was many Fridays I didn't actually take off. But this year I decided that I was going to do that for myself. And then I agreed to help my sister and my niece out by watching Theo for a few Fridays. And hey, let me tell you, he's adorable. I love it. But boy, you guys, that is work. This last Friday, well, first he learned to crawl, and now he learned how to go up the stairs. Okay, that is stitched on. It's nice and puckery. That, can you see the white thread? Where I kind of wasn't paying attention. I was looking out for birds. I'll cover that with it's not even that big of a deal. Oh, you know what? I don't think I did. I think that was one of my stitches from when I stitched that on. Duh. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay, to finish this off, I'm gonna go right into the edge there and just bring it to the back and tie it off. So, all right, you guys, I think I'm calling it a night. I just wanted to sit here, hang out. I think when I get off here, I'm just tying that off on itself. When I get off, I'm gonna go snap a few photos, so it's gonna be kind of dusky for you. It won't be a nice, bright, sunny day, but you can see what the garden looks like at dusk. There's the one we just did. That's gonna be the number 9. And I'll share some pictures of flowers popping in my garden. They won't be bloomed now, but because my daylilies, they're already going under because it's evening. But we have really, really tall orange daylilies here in Wisconsin, and they're often referred to as ditch lilies, which I love. I love when they're called ditch lilies, because anywhere you go out in the countryside, they are just growing wild, actually in the ditches on the side of the road. And I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things. So anyway, I hope you guys are all well. As I work on this this weekend and I get it finished, I'll try to catch up and maybe show you a little bit. And then I hope you all have a really, really nice 4th of July. Have a nice couple weeks stitching and doing whatever you love, if you love being outside in the garden. And then I will catch up with you after my kids are gone. And I think for the rest of the summer, we're going to start some serious stitching. And by that, I mean Bring More Flowers, Crazy Quilt Edition. So thanks for being here with me, you guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.